So right now we have a scene that is set up. I have a basic plane with all these things. Light is also at the same level, but it is in a in a cylindrical forms going very much straight. So because of which we have this thing going on, right? Now this light has no shadows. The moment I switch on the shadow, you can see that only after the first guy, the second guy is also not seen. I switch off the shadows for some time and I will let you know in the same length. If I say decay inverse, see the length of how it is diminishing. But the moment I increase this green line from 0 to 1, if you see, I'll keep it like this, which will tell you that the amount of intensity that it is having here is the same amount of intensity it is having here, and after that it is decreasing. See, these two guys are equal, and then in fact I have made it very big, so the depending on that length now it keeps on decreasing, so I have to keep that length good enough distance. See this, depending on my length, that is the distance is going. If I make it inverse square, the rate of decreasing will increase. It will be square of the distance. Just inverse means the amount of distance increasing is the amount of light decreasing. But inverse square is the amount of distance increasing, the square of that is the rate at which the light is decreasing. So it is much faster for small dim lights that we have in our space. A part of this, if we keep it none, it is not decaying at all. The light what it is receiving here is the same light he is receiving here. When I say near attenuation and far attenuation, first of all I will have to tell him use. And in use there is start distance and end distance of near, and there is start distance and end distance of far. I don't find any difference here right now. Okay. So what I do is I say use both. Okay. Now here what I am doing is, if we just focus a bit here on the whole scene, I increase the start beyond this guy. I'll just say target and I'll switch the target further so that we don't have a very confusing look, or I'll keep it all through. Okay. So this does not matter where the target is. What matters is these guys. Okay. Because when I deselect, you cannot see the cone, right? So what I do is I say show. So he will not show the cone, but he will show these guys. Okay. Now for these guys, I am increasing the start distance after the first teapot, and I am end is after the second teapot. Then the far ka start is after the third teapot, and end is after the fourth teapot. For what we do is we just increase this after 2 teapots, 3 teapots. Okay, and then we again keep it below this. Okay. What I would do is I will just take 2 more guys. Yeah. So the start is the near is starting from here and ending here. The far is starting here. Probably I will make it here. Yeah. The far is starting here and ending here. Okay. Now what happens is, in near and far, like our light decays, it decays here with a particular rate of whatever distance we are giving here. But here manually we can give it where to start and where to end. Near attenuation means that when it says start, the light here, the multiplier, whatever it might be, 1.5, whatever, the 100%, okay, let it be 1, okay, of the light. So at this point, the light will be 0 till the start. From start, he will start raising from 0% to 111, and at the end it will become 100% of whatever is available. So ये जो 1 है, वो यहाँ पे आके आपको 1 का light मिलेगा. And then it will keep on continuing to be 1 wherever there is end attenuation. Far attenuation, sorry. Far attenuation का start में the light starts becoming from 100% to 0%. And here at this case it becomes 0. So now depending on this theory, let us see. What I will also do is, I will just color this teapot red. These. Okay, that's it. So I cannot see the first guy. I can see the second guy a bit. The third guy I can see a bit more because the light has been increased till there. The red one I can see it perfectly. The one after that I can see it similar to this guy, and the fourth one again I can see him similar to this guy, and the last one I cannot see. The moment I say attenuations use off means, sorry, means he is going to keep the, now I can selectively use both or either one of them. So the near attenuation might be the distance is there, but the use option is off. Okay, so now the light has started from 100% from the source itself, and till the end, the far attenuation start, it has remained 1. So while rendering I can see all the teapots still there. After the fifth one, probably from after the fourth one, it starts decaying, and it decays after the sixth one, so I cannot still see the seventh one. See this? Now what I do is I say use near attenuation, don't use far attenuation. So now he has gone vice versa. I cannot see the first one, I can see the second one a bit, the third one a bit more, fourth one full, and the amount of light the fourth one is receiving is the same amount of light the last one is receiving. So I can see all of them. So here you can manually control the distance. Typically how your decay should be is like नियर अटेन्युएशन का जो स्टार्ट है वो 0 से स्टार्ट कर दो, फार अटेन्युएशन आपको जहां पे भी एंड करना है वहां पे एंड कर दो, तो लाइट सोर्स से ही डीके करना चालू हो जाएगा, which was using like this, but here the end is not in your control. So and some people say that sir अगर हम लोग ये दोनों यूज करेंगे तो क्या होता है, तो something confusing होता है, rather not use it. Okay, clear? Now let's go to the other properties of lights. Directional parameter, because here it is a directional light, right? So I have show cone. Show cone means it's the same thing. When I deselect, I can still see the cone, so it's not a big deal. When I switch it off and I just leave it, I can still see it. To see the other option, I will just turn the light upside down, sorry, in this position. Now here we will just change the position a bit. And I will just or else I'll just use a new light for that matter. Sorry, free direct, free spot. Okay, both of them are same. Show is off, show off. Okay, see, because he was not using still, he was showing me that. Now both of them are showing me almost similar kind of radius. In both these guys I get the directional parameter option. Here it is spotlight parameters, but the option is same. In directional, when I say overshoot, means now he is going to throw the light in this direction, but up till now he was only confined to this circular area. After saying overshoot, he is shooting the lights else everywhere else. If I say switch off light, now if I switch off overshoot, but it's still in direction. If I say shadows, you can see all the shadows are based on the ground. See, the shadows are same. Whereas if I do the same thing, I say light off and I say light on, I say shadows on and I say overshoot. See, the shadows of all these guys are different than compared to each other. See, his shadow is different than his shadow. He almost has a very lame shadow. I'm not using any decay, so why is he not? He should show shadows to me. Okay, he's not calculating shadows. Okay, yeah, he's not calculating shadows for the objects outside his purview. He's illuminating them but not casting their shadows. This is something new to me. Up to my knowledge, there was nothing like this up till now, but probably something I must have not noticed. Anyways, but this guy, for that matter, if I'm not wrong, is casting shadows to everything. No, he is also not. But if you just, that's a different query altogether. Now, if you want to increase the beam, you're not using overshoot, but you want to increase the beam. Sorry. No, he's creating shadows for all of them. Is he? No, he's not. He's not. See, up till here he is having shadows. The other guy, he's not creating shadows. Okay, anyways, but I have this. Now I have, we call it hotspot and fall off. So from the hotspot radius till the fall off radius there is a shadow. I must just increase the width also of this guy so that we get a proper. Now if I'm increasing the fall off, you see the light is 100% in the first circle, but in the end circle it starts decreasing. If the distance between both these guys is almost zero, then I have a very sharp area. But if I just reduce this, I have a shadowed area. If I reduce it more, I have a much more shadowed area. Clear? Clear? Now, instead of a circular, you can also have a rectangular space where you cannot control it with the size. You have to control it with an aspect ratio. If the aspect ratio is set 2, means it is twice the size of the first guy. It's proportionate. Sorry, I made it 25, 2. So it's twice the size of the first guy, right? If I make it zero point 0.5, it's half the size of the first guy, right? The proportion, if you remember, if you see, is still the same. See, this was the proportion. Instead of zero point 0.5, if I just make it 2, it's other way around. If I can make with this thing, render it, it's other way around. The proportion is still the same. Yes, so you can control your proportions like this in case of, or you can also give it a bitmap, like you can choose a particular bitmap and then he will use the resolution of that bitmap, but that's useless, right? Now let's come to advanced effects. In advanced effects, normally people go with adjusting the contrast and soften edges. At this stage, you will not be able to recognize them. So, let's not get into those things. But I will now show you that with the help of an Omni light rather than this guy. Okay. So I'll just create another Omni light here. And what I will do is I'll just create highlights in such a way. I'll give all these materials a very, and I'll just increase the size of these guys so that they are visible enough. I'm just creating another material, and it's a very highlighted area. Okay, I can see the highlight of all these guys. Let me just increase them a bit. Can you see the difference of the highlight guys of all these guys as per the location of the light? Now here what is happening is, see, it's changed because I changed the position of light. Now it's here. Now if I say that the shadow is, sorry, advanced effects, and I say that the light should not affect the diffuse, means the actual color of the object. You can see only the highlights are getting rendered. If I have another light, okay, if I have another light, just make a copy of this, copy, and that other height also casts shadow. You can see that here I am having highlight, but I am not having the illumination of this guy. In same case, I'll just, for my selection, I select this guy and I say diffuse. Now he will render it in another way. And I will always tell you to compare your, see now this is actual illumination from both the sides. So I'll just click this off for some time and I will again come back here and I say specular off. So now he is rendering but not giving any specularity. These are fillers, okay, and ambient only. Now this is the actual light illuminating and this is the ambient light. The moment I say ambient light, he will diffuse this. And the ambient light, this is the bounce light basically, has to be very low. Say first of all, without, just where is this light? This light is on the opposite side, somewhere here. So now this whole scene is getting illuminated from the other side. So what I've done is I've put one more light here. I've switched it on. Okay, that might not create shadows, might create shadows. That's a different thing. Okay, but it is illuminating the darker area only. If I don't say darker area only, then he is going to create, illuminate this guy also. और फिर उसका highlight और shadows दिखाएगा. Rather, ambience मतलब equal light bounce दिखाता है. Actually, when V-Ray or all these softwares are not used, the bounce light is where the ambience light comes from. But it has to be very minimum and has to be very much calculatively used. The plus point of this light is very difficult, but it is one of the most fastest rendering method, and if you get control on this type of lighting, you have very good it's very good because you can create a very good scene in a very less amount of time. Clear?
Which light?
Ambient only. When your light says ambient only, means he is going to illuminate only the darker areas. What ambient only does, you would say that without ambient only, it's still illuminating the area where the shadow was there. My idea is that he is using the funda of what do you call it? Angle of incidence. Angle of incidence means he is shading the area. He might not create the highlights, but he is shading. He is creating a shaded view depending on the. See, there is. If I just put off the specular, and I'll just make it. Sorry. Specular off. See, he is still having darker areas and lighter areas. I'll just make it one again so that we can understand what this means. See, here he is giving darker, lighter shade and darker. यहाँ पे light है, यहाँ पे dark है. When I say ambient only, na, see, it's no depth. It kills the depth. But the plus point is if you use it very minimalistic, okay, and then you have another light to create that awareness, the job is done. It's better than not using a bounce light where you just see dark shadows, total jet black step. Clear? That's about with your lights for now. Rest of the advanced topics we will be doing it in the next session. Okay?